In the past 10 to 12 hours, social media has been on fire with the latest rumours coming out of Real Madrid and their latest transfer pursuits. Earlier in the window, it was alleged that Michael Olise was going to be their top target, but it appears that a world record transfer fee is unlikely to happen. So they've moved on to two other targets. Number one, Spain's World Cup winning captain Rodri. He has been given all the assurances that Real Madrid want him. All the encouragement from the player is there. He's very keen on the move to Real Madrid, so watch this space on that particular move. But the latest move to be reported by David Ornstein and The Athletic last night was Real Madrid are going in for Ivorian winger and RB Leipzig's wonder kid, Yan Diomande. They bid apparently last night €90 million plus €10 million in add-ons, but Leipzig, as Liverpool and Paris Saint-Germain have found, are holding out for more. The reports coming out of Spain this morning are suggesting that €130 million will be the fee it will take to get Diomande out of the Bundesliga. Now, it baffles me, that deal. I'll get straight to the point. The crux of this video is analysing that move and understanding where the logic is from Real Madrid's point of view, but quite frankly, I don't really know where that is. This is a player that has 1 year of very, very good work. He was very talented at Leganés, of course he was. This isn't to diminish Diomande in any way. This isn't to downplay his career at any point. He's had a magnificent story, a heartwarming story to get where he is now. But to spend €131 million on 1 year of top-level production, to me, is madness. It's insane to do that. I don't understand why you would pay that much money for a player that is clearly talented. We've seen at the World Cup he's got bursts of speed that are frightening to come up against. We've seen for Leipzig in the Bundesliga, he's a very talented player. £130 million off of 1 year of very good production, to me, sounds absolutely insane. The Rodri deal for Real Madrid makes perfect sense. Go for it. See how much you can get that deal done for. How much are you going to pay for him? I said on a short form video that you can find on the social channels in the description, will it be 60 to 80 million? Well, Harry Kane in his final year at Tottenham went to Bayern Munich for £100 million, €100 million, whatever which way you want to look at it. Manchester City will be looking at it and going, well, Rodri's the World Cup winning captain, he's a Ballon d'Or winner, and he's probably the best in the world at his position. They will want to command a fee similar to that. He's in the last year of his contract. All the power is with Manchester City in this occasion. Real Madrid need to put a bid in. Real Madrid can unsettle the player and unsettle the club all they want, but eventually they're the ones that are going to have to put the money down on the table, and eventually they're the ones that are going to have to put their money where their mouth is and actually make a bid for the player, rather than just saying they appreciate the player, they love the player, they are enamoured with the player. All the usual cliches that come with football transfers and that sort of guff. Naturally, as is the case with all the Real Madrid media, all the reports coming out after the bid suggest that this isn't just a spur-of-the-moment deal. This is Real Madrid have been, I'm looking now, Marca claim that Real Madrid were monitoring Yan Diomande before the World Cup. He fits perfectly into Real Madrid's policy of investing in young players with enormous potential, hence why they're going for 29-year-old Rodri, hence why they signed Denzel Dumfries, Bernardo Silva and Marc Cucurella, because they also fit into the policy of young players with enormous potential. Don't think they do. Feels like a bit of a move from the media to make this feel like it's far more planned than it was. Let's be honest, everybody knows what their plan was. Their plan was go and sign Michael Olise. He's one of the best players in the world. He would be an amazing statement signing. He already plays well and gets on with your star forward in Kylian Mbappe. It makes the most sense for Real Madrid. Of course, it was just too expensive. I don't think they got the encouragement from Bayern Munich to go there and do the deal, so they've moved on to another target. They've moved on to a target that Liverpool were in for, but decided not to pursue because, by all accounts, Diomande and his many agents and many representatives, which I think is another issue which I'll touch on in a minute, they informed Liverpool that they wanted to go to Paris Saint-Germain. Liverpool, whilst they appreciated the offer and all of this kind of stuff, Paris Saint-Germain is where the player wanted to go. Therefore, Paris Saint-Germain and Leipzig are still locked in negotiations over a move for the player, but nothing has progressed. Because, quite frankly, I think Paris Saint-Germain, even Nasser Al-Khelaifi, Luis Campos, Luis Enrique, anybody who's running the club, will look at this deal and go, that is an awful lot of money for someone that is not going to be a certified starter in the team. This goes back into the 1 year of production thing. Is he better? Is Yan Diomande better than Kvicha Kvaratskhelia? No, he's not. Is Yan Diomande better than Desiree Doué? No, he's not. Is he better than Ousmane Dembele? No, he's not. Then you look at, is he better than Bradley Barcola? No, he's not. Paris Saint-Germain will be far better off renewing Barcola's deal than spending a load of money on a player that could be very good. Going through, thankfully, the Twitter account, the Madrid Zone, is very good at collecting basically every bit of information media-wise that is said about Real Madrid. And, whilst the all-capsness of their posts might actually be quite annoying, when you read them time and time again, when they read things like, breaking, Rodri will accept any offer from Real Madrid if they reach an agreement with Man City. He does not care about the money. Right? That, when you read it like that, is irritating, but it's a very good place to find your news if you're looking to collect everything Real Madrid-wise. And, 7 hours ago, confirmed, this is in all caps, so they're just screaming and shouting this one to the rooftops. This was 7 hours ago. Real Madrid are offering a €100 million package for Yan Diomande. The deal could be done for €120 million total package. Real Madrid are going very strong. I just look at it, the deal, and go, this is a lot of money for a player that has 1 year of production. I said this on social media last night. What should have raised alarm bells is, for a player that is supposedly wanted by Paris Saint-Germain and supposedly wanted by Liverpool, Arsenal have apparently put in an inquiry for the player amidst their look for a winger. So that's exploratory at this stage, according to TalkSport's Ben Jacobs. 130, let's say it's 120 to 130 million euros in total package. That, to me, is an unbelievable amount of money for someone that could be very good. I spoke about Bradley Barcola in a different video, and about how he's been linked to Arsenal and how their pursuit of a left winger, or any kind of winger that can play on that left-hand side, is what's going to be defining of their transfer window. They've already had an issue with Morgan Rogers, Julian Alvarez, not exactly likely, and Bradley Barcola is the one that I kind of focused on and asked the question, is he really worth over 100 million euros? And I said, if I was making that deal, I would be spending 60 to 80 million euros on Barcola, because I think he's very talented. He has performed well on big stages, but his inconsistency in his decision-making is what lets him down more often than not. He's incredibly quick, a great dribbler, good finisher in times as well. Not every time, that goes into the decision-making and the consistency. But if I wouldn't pay 60 to 80 million for Bradley Barcola, who I think is a superior player to Yan Diomande, I'm certainly not paying almost double that for Diomande. And it screams to me of desperation from Real Madrid, of a need to kind of remind... They're desperate to remind everybody, and they're desperate to remind themselves that there's still a superpower. They can still hold their weight, hold their own in the transfer window. Buying Rodri would be a good step. That feels more Real Madrid than anything else. But the Diomande deal just makes absolutely no sense. Financially, it's a lot of money for a player that could be very good. The fact that Paris Saint-Germain haven't pulled the trigger on the deal yet should raise alarm bells. Maybe it's the price tag that they're not comfortable with. Maybe it's the image rights issues that apparently, but I think it was Roman Molina was talking about last night. Maybe it's the image issues, and maybe it's the issues with the agencies and the various agents and who's getting what fee and how many agents' fees are kicking about. Maybe that's what's putting Paris Saint-Germain off the deal. And quite frankly, I think it's refreshing for a big club to look at a big signing and pull away from it if they're not comfortable with every aspect of it. Which makes me question why Real Madrid are getting involved with this. Real Madrid already have talented wingers. They've got one particular talented winger that I think might actually be really affected by this move, and I'll finish off that in a minute. The fact that Liverpool weren't too keen or weren't too upset with the fact that Diomande said no to them, that is concerning. That's concern number one. He was meant to be one of your top targets. He's openly said no, and you're fine with that. Alarm bell number 2 is that Paris Saint-Germain have had the clear run of this guy for a few weeks now. And, they've been in negotiations with Leipzig and nothing's moved. Which tells me either they don't like the price tag that Leipzig are after, or there's other parts of the deal, like the agencies and the image rights, that the club are looking at and go, no, this isn't worth it to us. And I completely agree, actually. So why are Real Madrid doing it? It baffles me, and I think it's a power play. I think it's a perceived power play anyway, from the club, to remind Europe that the reigning European champions wanted this guy, and even he said no to them to join Real Madrid. Not quite the case, but that's what I imagine will be said about it, because that's what Real Madrid do. They're very good at spinning news in a positive way for them. Even if people don't believe it, the news is out there, and it's a version of the story. But why make this deal in the first place, especially when you've got someone like Vinny Jr in your squad, which actually makes me think the fact that they were linked with Elise, the fact that they're now linked heavily with Yan Diomande. Now, by the time you're watching this, Diomande might already be signed at the club. All of this stuff moves really quickly. But the fact that all of these wingers have been linked to the club makes me think that maybe Vinicius Jr is going to be off. And I saw people online talking about it on social media last night, talking about the future of Vinny Jr. And the fact that, and another question this raises is, if Real Madrid are going to spend 120 million euros on one player, they need to sell someone. And how many players in that team could you sell someone for? And the 3 that came to mind were Aurelien Tchouameni, Eduardo Camavinga, and Vinicius Jr. Tchouameni's already been linked to Manchester United in the Premier League. Eduardo Camavinga, I could picture him going to many clubs. I wouldn't actually be surprised if the offer comes up that Paris Saint-Germain go in for him. It just feels like a good fit. And Vinicius Jr has been linked with a move away. I think he's been linked to both Manchester City and to Arsenal. Now, the question mark on that one is, Arsenal don't want to pay £117 million on Morgan Rogers. Would they pay, complete hypothetical, complete estimation, £150 million on Vinicius Jr? That's a conversation for a different time. Would Manchester City do it? Well, it depends. They've already spent big on Elliot Anderson. Would Vinicius Jr be part of a deal for Rodri? Would it be not some kind of straight swap deal, because that'd be nuts, financially anyway? Would that be a play that Real Madrid look for to kind of get the man they want anyway, while also moving on someone to allow them to buy someone else? All these questions come up in it. But the question marks that this Diomande deal puts to you, I think, are bigger red flags than anything that you could get signing him. Again, he's not better than Vinicius Jr. He's not better than Mbappe. He's not better than, really, anybody they've got that would start regularly for them. That money could be used to go into other parts of the squad. It could be used to buy, Rodri, for example. If Man City come back and say it's £100 million and you only wanted to pay £60 million, well, you can put some of that Diomande money into that, and then you get the man that you really want. It just baffles me, and it strikes me as a flexing of muscles that people don't care about anymore. People aren't bothered about the big marquee signings in football as much these days, because if they look at it and go, well, this doesn't make any sense, and if this doesn't kind of match up with how I want this team to play, and systematically does it work? These things are so important in football now that just buying a player for a lot of money because he's a big name, or you've usurped another top club to sign him, doesn't really make any sense. Would you buy Yan Diomande at the sacrifice of Vinny Jr? I think that is insane to do. It just strikes me as odd. It strikes me as opportunistic, which is not necessarily un-Real Madrid-like. But you mean to tell me that Real Madrid were monitoring Diomande before the World Cup, so much so that they let Liverpool publicly bid for him, or publicly announce interest for him, let Paris Saint-Germain steal a march on Liverpool, therefore then take the forefront of that? It was just Real Madrid's play and plan to let that happen, and all of a sudden now they're in for him. I'm sceptical. I don't buy it. Not one bit. I've just seen something on social media as I was reading about this now, seeing if anything was broken whilst recording about Diomande. Someone's just put out this. I genuinely can't believe how stupid this board is with regards to Real Madrid. Zero strategy. If Rodri is your priority, why are you showing the market you're happy to throw €100 million at Yan Diomande before you've even secured the Rodri deal? If I'm Man City, I'm thinking, well, you were ready to spend €100 million on Diomande, then pay even more for the World Cup Golden Ball winner. Even if that's not how it plays out, why put yourself in that position? It's bad squad planning. I think it's true. I think that's it. If you've bid €90 million plus €10 million in add-ons, so you've bid €100 million for a player, Man City are well within their rights to go, well, you've definitely got €100 million because you were willing to spend that on one player. You've definitely got €60 million because you were willing to spend some of that on our player. That's €100 million, please. Real Madrid, in this whole situation, in my opinion, have played themselves. The dopamine hit of seeing a Yan Diomande to Real Madrid for €120 million in the moment may seem good, it may seem exciting. But this is a player that a Premier League club didn't want, or at least weren't willing to go the extra mile to sign. The back-to-back European champions weren't willing to go the extra mile and sign, and they've left them with you. And you've now inadvertently played yourself and backed yourself into a corner for your number one target because the team that you're going to buy him from, Man City, now know you have money. They now know you are willing to spend at least €100 million on a different player who is unproven at the top level, who has many, many things going on in terms of image rights and agents' fees and everything like that. So you'd have to pay a lot of money in that regard. Well, Man City now know you've got that money. If you're willing to pay that on a guy like Diomande, what would you be willing to pay for the World Cup Golden Ball winner, a treble winner, multiple-time Premier League winner, and a previous Ballon d'Or winner? You can't say €60 million now because they know you've got the money. So well done, Real Madrid. In a bid to seem strong and in a bid to seem relevant and in a bid to seem important, you've completely messed yourself up. Go get your number one target first. Get that deal done. Rodri is far more important to this Real Madrid team than Yan Diomande is. Get Rodri in. If you want to sell Vinicius Jr, then by all means do it. Go to the Premier League, go to Arsenal, go to Man City, go to someone that you know has loads of money and pitch it to them. Hey, Vinny ain't going to fit in right now. He might look for something new. What do you reckon? City, how much are you willing to pay? You're directly communicating with them with Rodri anyway, so get this done whilst you're at it. They've played themselves, and it isn't worth it for Diomande. Do I think he's a talented player? Of course I do. Do I think he's worth 120 million? I don't even think he's worth 80 million. I think Paris Saint-Germain are doing the right thing by not going all in on a player that is not a certified starter in the team. Would he improve Real Madrid? Off the bench, maybe. I don't see him as a certified starter. I'm happy to be wrong on this. I'm happy to be pulled up in the season if he does sign and if he absolutely batters it in La Liga and the Champions League. I'm happy to hold my hands up and say I got it wrong. But as of right now, what's the date? As of the 25th of July, this deal makes no sense to me. Thank you for watching the video. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment underneath if you have any thoughts particularly on this signing. Check out the social channels underneath in the description. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again soon.